And it's really important to people know where this is all going, because people need to plan. This is a wholesale change of global business models, and they have to plan for the future and understand, okay, what we know today is not what's going to be existing in 5 years' time. And this space is, as you know, moving at lightning speed. Well, I think that the fact that you're so embedded in the space, you're so knowledgeable in the space, yet when you started showing me your writing, you were showing me the clarity with which you could communicate to people. And I'm a passionate believer in educating people about this disruptive technology. I think it's one of the biggest things we're ever going to see. And so the moment you reached out, I thought, this is exactly what I want to get behind, to make sure that businesses, business leaders, and others get to understand what this really means for them. And you weren't approaching it in the standard way that everybody else was, which was, Bitcoin and Ethereum and, buying it for speculation or investment or whatever it was. You were actually looking at the broader concept of, okay, well, what does this mean for business? What does it mean for the economies? How does the world look with this new technology? And that, I think, is a really powerful and important message. And the metaverse is this kind of weird concept that people don't want to believe because they think it's like Ready Player One and gaming world. But it's not. It's our digital future. It's when all these digital technologies come together. And, blockchain empowers most of that because it allows the ownership and transfer of assets in a digital world. There can be physical goods too. But, again, it's really important to people know where this is all going, because people need to plan. This is a wholesale change of global business models, and they have to plan for the future and understand, okay, what we know today is not what's going to be existing in 5 years' time. And this space is, as you know, moving at lightning speed, because as opposed to one company developing a new strategy, this is a distributed network of thousands of developers and entrepreneurs, all pushing the boundaries in all the different areas. So it's happening at a speed we've never seen before. I think one of the things I've looked at is the network adoption effects of crypto, or the digital asset ecosystem, is growing at twice the speed the internet grew at with the same number of users. Back then, the internet was growing at 63% a year back in 1997 with 150 million users. Right now, the digital asset market is growing at 113% a year. It's the fastest adoption of any technology the world has ever seen. And that's partly partly due to its distributed nature and how many smart people are developing so many things. So yeah, really interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's the single most important chart. You don't need to know anything else almost. Because basically, if you extrapolate the trend, and what I did was lower the trend rate of growth over time, because networks slow as they get more saturated, more people onto the network, you still get to 1 billion users by 2024. We can't quite get our heads around that because it feels kind of niche and small, but 1 billion users by 2024 and about 3.5 to 4 billion users by 2030. I mean, that's staggering. Facebook have gone into the metaverse, and they're launching their own stable coin, which is part of the crypto complex. So that's 2 to 3 billion people who have access to crypto rails. And then the central banks have joined in with central bank digital currencies. So it's going to be ubiquitous, faster than anybody can imagine.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Even since we started talking, the rise of NFTs as a business model, as a way of coalescing communities, the rise of the metaverse, social tokens, DeFi, it's at a blistering pace. And there's so much business experimentation going on, but with so many people doing it, it's, as I said before, it just keeps moving ahead faster than any of us can keep up with. For us is realizing that community is the new business model, and that digital assets play a phenomenal role in creating network effects and coalescing community. So, we're looking at how do we work for this Web 3.0 world, which people will hear more and more about. And that's really where your either your audience, your members, or your customers are all part of your network and share in the success of the network. So, we're looking at launching a Real Vision token that gives people a currency for Real Vision. In addition, we'll start using NFTs as digital assets that give you memberships or rights or other things. So, and then we're developing ways that we can integrate community into more of what we do. Things like crowdsourced asset management, where they can earn tokens by generating great trade ideas. So then they get paid by the by all the other members by saying that was a great trade idea. I'm going to trade it, and you get paid in tokens. So you create whole economies. I mean, I think these are digital sovereign states. They can be really small, or they can be gigantic in the case of Facebook. So yeah, I'm really focused on that. We are having to pivot, much like everybody will. We're slightly ahead of the game, but it's still a big pivot, and everyone has to get their head around the fact that it's not a relationship of firm customer. It's now this symbiotic relationship you have to create, and that only creates more network effects once you get it right. But there's going to be a lot of experimentation. Nobody knows the answers yet, and you can see it in the giant brands. People like Starbucks are creating their own token. We can see Adidas, Nike, all the fashion brands all moving towards NFTs. We're seeing a relentless pace. It's going to come out of the media industry. It's going to come out of the fashion industry, the music industry. They're all going to change. And everybody's going to be looking around and thinking, oh my God, what just happened? Much like it happened when the internet turned up. It suddenly changed everything. So that's how big it is. I know it sounds hyperbolic, but it's not.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar, and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.